I welcome you all to this module on supervision. Supervision is a managerial function, helps organization to function effectively and efficiently. For Munson, supervision acts as a bridge between social work and society. Broadly, if we see, supervision is an administrative tool. The meaning of supervision differs from different sectors. For example, supervision in child welfare center differs from supervision in elderly homes. For Kudushin and Harkness, supervision does 4 processes: overseeing, coordinating, enhancing, and evaluating on the job performance of workers. In today's lecture, I am going to cover 5 aspects on supervision. 1. History. 2. Roles of supervision. 3. Modules of supervision. 4. Principles of supervision. 5. A case study. Let me start with history of supervision. Supervision as a concept is not new, and it has been in use for many centuries. While looking at history, we could see the concept used by Greeks and Romans. For example, the royal employees oversaw the work of the slaves. Similarly, in feudal society, landlords supervised their bonded laborers. The Industrial Revolution shifted the concept of supervision to a whole new level. Here, there are many levels of management. The gap between the owner and the employee widened. Also, managers here are professionally trained to ensure production by effectively managing workers, process, and resources. Likewise, clear-cut distinction emerged between owner and employee after the emergence of employee union. These two groups are considered as economic and political rivalries. In the last centuries or so, governments have expanded and became complex. Many subgroups and agencies are created to administer their services. For example, the police department of Tamil Nadu, it has many sections such as law and order, social justice and human rights, special task force, etc. Now, let's move on to the new section of this module, the roles of supervision. This section tries to answer the question, what do supervisors do? Many researchers have answered this question. For example, for Dwell and Wexley, the work of supervisors include 7 aspects. They are working with subordinates, organizing work for subordinates, work planning and scheduling, maintaining quality, maintaining work area, maintaining equipment, and compiling records. Dakar said, supervisor work as a buffer between management and workers. Similarly, Mann categorizes supervisor skills into 3 categories: technical, interpersonal, and managerial. If we look at a government agency, for example, the public distribution system, it provides rice, wheat, sugar, and kerosene for subsidized price through network of ration shop across India. Here, supervision will happen at various levels, ranging from the ground level of distributing food grains to the top level of procuring quality food grains. Some of the major challenges for supervisors in government sectors are budget, lack of motivation, and the influence of political factions. With this, now let's move on to our next section, modules of supervision. Here, I am going to talk 3 modules of supervision proposed by van der Waals. First, work-oriented model. In this, supervisors give importance to production of the workers. Second, theory and method oriented model. Here, supervisors will give more importance to theory and methods rather than activities and functions of the workers. Third, learning oriented model. In this, supervisors focus on the education aspect of the supervision. Now, let us study closely one of these three modules, theory and method oriented model. Sui reviewed various theoretical methods of social work supervision and divided them into 5 categories. 1. Practice theory as model. Here, supervisors adopt therapy theories for supervision. The second model is structural functional model. The focus of supervisors here is on function and administrative structure. 3. Agency model. Here, accountability is attached to various levels and autonomy is provided within each level. Fourth, interactional process model. Here, focus is on interaction between supervisors and workers. Lastly, feminist partnership model. This model assumes supervisors can be self-directing, self-disciplined and self-regulating. The next section of the presentation is principles of supervision. The same author Sui lists 7 principles of supervision in social work. They are interpersonal interaction, agency objectives, flow of information, professional values, job performance, evaluation and involving all the parties. Due to time constraint, now let's take 2 of these principles and understand what it says. 1. Agency objectives. Here, supervisor should make sure the work of the employee is in line to the objective of the agencies. 2. Professional values. Here, supervisor should follow professional values of the social work profession. We are now in the last section of this presentation. Let me share a case study on how to implement peer supervision model. In 2006, the concurrent northeast monsoon and release of Kaveri water from Kallanai Dam caused flood in the delta region of Tamil Nadu. There are 7 districts in this delta region. Houses and roads were damaged. Electricity went off in many rural areas. Crops were damaged. Transportation was withheld to many interior villages. Poor and marginalized communities especially faced many difficulties during this period. Both government and non-governmental agencies came forward to support this specific section of the population. I am going to talk about an agency called Blue. It is not a real name. The principle of confidentiality in social work profession doesn't allow me to mention the real name of that agency. I was working for that agency during this period. It was a semi-funding agency and had 8 partner agencies in this delta region. A relief package worth of rupees 1500 per family was fixed. The package had rice, dal, vegetable oil, mat and bed sheets. As I said before, the peer supervision model was followed for this relief operation. After the first week of relief work, a meeting was called to discuss the progress and evaluate the work of the relief operation. Social workers of Blue, the administrative staff and directors of the partner agencies came for that meeting. Anbu, a social worker from Blue, made a complaint that the rice procured by Peter, another social worker from the same agency, was poor in quality. Peter was immediately offended by this complaint. He narrated his side of the argument, like the demand in the delta region was quite high to procure rice. It was difficult to procure quality rice from mills in short notice, etc. Anbu and directors of the partner agencies were not happy with the explanation given by Peter. Anbu then took over the responsibility of procuring rice. He procured rice from nearby districts of the Delta region. In this case, peer supervision helped to ensure quality of service, though the rift emerged between Anbu and Peter for a while after this relief operation. Kindly look at the notes for other supervision models and more examples and case studies. I thank you all for attending this lecture.